Yes, there we go. Okay, so Thandi, you're going to play the video.
I have to say, I like the silence. It's almost like a group meditation where everybody is focusing and we're sending our positive energy and light with reading the topics. Yeah, so stop screen sharing and I hand over to Eunice.
I'm going to be very quick. Guys, I'm so excited about where we are and where we're going. I don't know if all of you listened to the call from Kim this morning, but it just tells me that we're marching on, we're moving forward, and everyone has a part of us, has a part to play in it. So what we did is we prepared 6 videos, which is basically the foundational, the basics of what we are all about in assemblies. And we want to rotate this video every 6 weeks. The same video will come up, but we will discuss the different topics in that video. And this is like a roadmap that has got stations or like a railway line with all the different stations, and we need to go to all those stations to get the whole plan together. Now, when we try and explain to somebody what we are all about, it's very difficult because you start with one thing and it leads to another and another, and then they don't get the full picture. That's why we decided to put a foundational basic thing out for all of us, the ones who've been here for a long time and the ones who've just started, who joins us today. So we're going to open the chat room so that we can, for questions and answers and discussion. For now, every person can speak for a maximum of 2 minutes, and you can only speak once. So if you wanted a chance, just put up your hand. Thandi will open for you, and you can talk about this. We're talking about restoration tonight. Restoration, your part in it, other people's part, where do you see assemblies in it? But mostly this is about what are we all about and where we stand. So if anybody wants to say something, please, this is a discussion. We're going to open the Zoom room for a while for that. When your 2 minutes is up, they will say 2 minutes is up, and then please just say goodbye and wave and let the next person come on in. Thank you. Hi, Unati. Can those let some people in? Please. They are very welcome, very, very welcome. Thandi, I assume you heard that they want to come in? I'm not too sure because you're muted.
There's no one in the waiting room presently.
Okay, okay. Good. Is there anybody who wants to say something about restoration, about your role in it, about the people around you, about where we're going? Why are we all together?
Jake, you need to unmute yourself if you want to speak.
Thanks. Good evening to everybody. Eunice and everybody, I'm just putting this forward as a suggestion, but very few of us are trained for the diplomatic world, as it were. You know, we've always been dictated to, and we've tried to follow the law as it's been dictated to us. But our role is going to change. I wonder if we can't put our heads together, maybe form a special committee that puts together a training program for the assemblies on how to manage from the ground up and how to be effective and fair in all that they do. You know, it's all very well just saying, hey, that's what you should do and you do no harm, but sometimes you need to do harm for the greater good, where some people will see it as harm. I think the important thing there is that you don't mean to do harm against anybody, but you need to open up something that might hurt somebody, but it's for the greater good of everybody. So I put that out to all of you. Thank you.
Jake, I assume you are talking about disciplining now, or putting things right, or like pruning, cutting things back.
No, not that at all. What I'm talking about is is we active people are going to go out into the various communities in our assembly areas, and we're going to be talking to them. We're going to be talking to people on all different levels, and we need to know, and perhaps we need to have special training on how to communicate with people without being dictatorial, how to energize them and build up an enthusiasm, how to be leaders, how to get people behind us. What do we need to do to be a leader? And I know there are a lot of courses out there, but they're very long. But if we as an assembly can put together a training agenda for those people who want to be, I don't know what the term would be, let's say the leaders on the assembly, that get voted in as being the leaders of the assembly. That's where it all starts. And that is where the example needs to be set, and that's where the leadership needs to come from. Yeah. So,
Jake, this is a very good point. Time up, yes. I think, Jake, this is a very good point, and there's a lot of information to be found on the PGSD website, and we feel, or I can always better speak for myself, I feel this is in many areas very theoretical. So what we've developed over the last weeks is a rollout plan to give you all the guidance, the practical implementation. We will have knowledge banks, you could also say them advice organizations. They will give you all the advice, they will give you the training, they will give you the information. Just to say, I'm not a good cook, but I can cook my own, I don't know, tea and poached eggs. However, if I want to cook more a decent meal or a 7-course meal, then I can get to the right experts and get the spices together and the best ingredients together and the best stove and the best tools. But then I maybe still need a chef who helps me for the first few times to really get the meal in the right position. And that's what we are proposing. We will propose what we have one here is the knowledge banks, where you get all the informations that you need, including training, where you can put forward the questions and maybe your expertise that you have for others available. Then we have a program team who helps you to run out programs, project teams. And then we have a team that will roll out into the areas. So that, if, for example, if you, Jake, want to roll out an assembly in your area, you will have the support. What is the next step? Not only theoretical, but also practical. And we will have teams together that will then come to a community and will have then the training for all of them inside, so that you engage the community, get their buy-in, and then can roll it out together with the community. Tanya, or you?
I would love to just add something. What Jay just said is very important. There's a lot of information coming out, and we don't want to flood people with that. But Jake, when you said we must train people and show them, I just want to remind all of us that we together do it. It's not us doing it. We've put a little line out there and said, this is what we're going to do. And there's lots of information coming from the assembly side. But the assembly is members, every one of us on this call now, everybody that you know, they're welcome. If you want something to write something, Jake, by all means, please write and send it into this email, and we'll bring it into the information. So we want everybody to join in. There where your expertise is, where you are skilled, please, whatever you have, come and bring it to the assembly. We will see how we can work it in and put our heads together and make something beautiful. This is our chance. It's not for one or two people, it's for every one of us. So if you look at that video, you will see it starts with what are we doing, and then what do I have to do? And the rest of it is about every one of us. So please write it, start out with, even if it's just a few lines, let's add on to it, and together we'll get to the answer. Because Jake is absolutely right. There's a lot of the way that we think has to change, the way that we react to things has to change. There's a lot of change happening, and it's difficult for us. It's difficult because we were used to doing it in a certain way, but a lot of people are looking at us, their eyes are on us and asking us, show us the way. That's basically what's happening now. So thank you, Jake. Okay, who's next?
Eunice, can I speak next, please?
Yes, please. You don't have to ask me. Just jump in and talk. Is it you, Kim?
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
That's good. I'm so excited. I was so excited I couldn't breathe this morning when I heard Kim's news. But just quickly, this course that Jake is talking about, South Africa moved from apartheid into what we currently have. And I have been training people to bring management and staff together. And it's all about attitude and how and different people's roles and how we bring everybody onto one level. I have the most amazing course, and I have the most amazing testimonies on that course. When I leave a company, the director feels and the staff feel that they're all together on one level, and that they're in the same bus and going in the same direction. I didn't know he was going to bring that up. He doesn't know that I do that training. So I just want to know that our company is a labor law company, and that training's got to do with employment equity, and it's bringing management and staff together, and how uncomfortable they feel and where they're going, and I promise you it's beautiful. But just I'm done. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. We've got Unati next. You could, thank you, Unati.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome.
Hope everyone is feeling awesome. So I'm Unati, and I'm relatively new in the assembly, and I've been trying to catch up with all the information that I can. But here's a question that I have, and this is something that, you know, people like us are really struggling with, especially from the disadvantaged background. You know, the basics at times for us are an issue. And I'm referring to data availability. So I'm not too sure if this is something that the assembly has discussed before. I know that there's a couple of people that wanted to attend tonight, but because of data, you know, that simple thing, data, that they cannot afford at this point in time. So is there a way where we can really try and meet people halfway regarding such basics at this point in time, so that at least they can attend the meetings and they can be part of the processes that we want them to be part of. And also that same data issue is the one that makes them not be able to be available for Telegram, for instance, because then they have to download the app and they constantly have to be online. So it's not possible when then you are struggling with data.
So from the point of budget, we do not have at the moment the budget to support data. This is in plan. This is in the budget as well for people, for startup communities as well. However, maybe we should listen to your needs and the people, or definitely we should listen to what form can we make this call also available? Can we make this call available on a different media without a video, that people do not need so much data? Can we offer a download of just the the voice, how do you say, the voice recording instead of the video. So we are open to all these suggestions. We have to find the right way to use platforms. We have proposed, when we have the budget, quite a few things. However, in the interim, we just have to see how can we easily reach people who do not have so much data. I'm definitely happy to listen and to get your ideas. What's the best way to reach them?
I think the power lies in community, having the core people get the knowledge and actually go back to their communities and actually sitting around a table, and then the table getting bigger and then standing around and actually meeting somewhere. But actually having face-to-face meetings is far more powerful. But yes, we need to have these meetings. But we can also get people with starting community radios, and that can help. There will be ways that we can do it. Right now, we're still working on solutions. So if you have solutions or ideas, please let us know. You can email us or actually speak to us.
Can I just butt in here? You know, Celsi has a beautiful plan for WhatsApps. It's like for 12 Rand for a month or something. And I think if we can get a few people who will sponsor, even if we go to the larger package, like I think it's 59 Rand, and we can place the recording of what we've done on our meetings on WhatsApp for you guys. And then 3 or 4 people can come together and on that WhatsApp can listen to it. I don't know if that can help, but for the interim, perhaps that's an idea. Unati, do you think that can help at all?
Yes, I think so. Snazo, and Koksara and Ike, what do you think?
Okay, I volunteer to sponsor one of those monthly things for WhatsApp, but we'll speak about that. If there's anybody else who wants to join, and let's help the people who really need to get the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah, you are next. Sarah, you can just
thank you, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity. The 2 minutes that you have given us to contribute on the topic of what is our goal, which is mainly restoration of people and the planet. What I have seen in the past 10 years is the increase of people living in informal settlements, very precarious and vulnerable situations in landscapes that are easily washed by floods. But I'm also seeing that more people are becoming homeless, more people are becoming affected by mental health, and the homelessness and the lack of something to bring on the table is caused by the fact that money is an intermediary for people to access homes, for people to access food. And this transcends across all, racial backgrounds or settlements. Even in the wealthiest settlements, immediately one of us tend to lose their job and then cannot afford to pay for the bond that they could have paid for 28 years and now close to finish with the last 2 years. Then they become homeless. We don't care, we pass. We even have property companies where we know that they've been up, there's been no one buying or renting out that property. And we cannot make those decisions with the powers that we have to say, this will be the space where the local South African Assembly can start engaging people who are homeless, start growing food immediately in that space. Wherever, is it a rural area, is it an urban area? This, in my view, at the bottom, can start to weave this fabric of restoring the people and the planet. And then also the second point I like to emphasize is one of the first few speakers who spoke about capacity on how to be diplomatic at the higher level with the system, to have our intelligence correct, that besides the organizing, the restoration, and unity as we educate and grow our own food, rebuild our communities that are becoming dilapidated across all settlements in South Africa. You know, you pass this day, the roads are good and the neighborhood is good. You pass 5 years later, houses are abandoned, and there's lots of things that we cannot be proud of. That's where my narrative in terms of restoring the people and the planet can lie. And also one of the first speakers said, each one of us can play a role, which is then the second layer of our discussion next time or anytime. What is my role? Thank you, Chair.
Sarah, it's not somebody who wants to have a role. We all play a role. We can either work against it or for it. Us on this group, we all want to work for us going forward. But even the people who do not know about the plan are busy with this plan. And we really need to wake people up and show them what's happening to our people. What you're talking about is very close to my heart, that people become homeless just like that. Just like that. And then you lose everything. You can't get a foothold again. So the question is, what are each of us going to do in the communities to change that? And that is why we're working with this plan and moving forward. So thank you for sharing that with us. AJ, over
thank
to
you, Eunice. Just one input. I share my home with many people. Many have been there, many stay there, because I cannot allow this to happen. It never used to happen before 94. Now it's me and myself and the high walls. I don't even care what my neighbors, struggles are. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. And there are many things that I could say and refer to. We at Assembly, we have a major role to play, and I just want to also make this a little bit more clear. We from the National Assembly, we are not the headquarters. We are just here to guide you to create your own assembly. Very important to understand. We are not giving the rules and regulations how to run it. We just give you the tools how to make your 7-course menu that I just referred to earlier, or in this case, being involved or getting the right food on the table and creating jobs and creating projects and going through trauma. Besides my enrollment or involvement as officer in the National Assembly, I'm involved as many others also in different projects, and one of them is quite a large-scale project where we look for creating jobs and houses and food security and trauma. So we have a very good understanding, or quite a good understanding, it's always a daily learning about the needs in the community. But our role is to empower the people in the community to take over the responsibility, and we are just providing the tools and the knowledge and hopefully soon the finances to get it done. That you can say, I'm a proud member of this community and we got this together and we got a little help here, a little help there. But it's us who got the road fixed, who got our trauma fixed, who got our elderly safe and secure and well nourished. And maybe I'm just taking this now my 6 minutes that I had on the agenda, also to speak about a little bit about the past and the future.
Time's up.
What?
Time's up.
Okay, already. Okay, just said 2 minutes. Give me 4 more.
No, you can.
The last weeks we have been a little bit silent, and this is not that we, as I said earlier, of course, somebody invited me to go to the beach afterwards on this call. I couldn't see who this was. We didn't spend the time on the beaches. We spent the time in Zoom calls and in discussions with people, national and international, and we engaged with many people to find the right model forward, because we feel there's a lot of good help and support offered in the chats of the PGSD and on the website, but we feel this is very theoretical, and there I come to the point what Jake said as well. It's the practical implementation. It's the training that Kim mentioned that we need to offer, and there will be many different training courses on many different levels. As I said, there will be restoration teams available, there will be knowledge banks available, there will be program management teams available, there will be rollout teams available who come into your community and help you into unity, and help you to get your assembly done and get the buy-in of your communities, that you're not standing alone. There will be media campaigns, there will be rollout in any impossible and thinkable way, and therefore we need a lot of people, which also calls for a lot of volunteers at the moment. At the moment, it's just a few people who are involved here and being on a daily basis. I mean, and we need more people to join us. We need people, volunteers who have more media experience and admin, how to run votes or count the votes that when we vote online, how to post the questions or get questions involved, how to manage the calls, and also I don't know if you know, we have committed that we are only officers for a certain time. At the moment, we propose we are 3 years maximum as an officer in an assembly, and then we will be stepping down and make space for new thoughts and new ideas. And therefore, this year will also be the time where we will invite new members into the National Assembly, probably by vote, actually. I think that we have 5, because it will be rotation. One steps up, one comes on, so that there also is a way forward. Jake said earlier, sometimes you maybe have to do the wrong things or the hard things. I just read an interesting book, Shantaram. I don't know if other people read it. It helps you a lot to understand for Indian communities what's going on there. And there was one quote that really stuck with me. It's sometimes it's doing the wrong things for the right reasons. So this person explains it in a way that we all know what's right or wrong. Shooting a person is definitely wrong. But what do you do when this person is sitting there with a gun on the head of your beloved one? Killing them, is this right or wrong? He comes to the conclusion it's still wrong, but for the right reasons. And that's a differentiation that helped me to understand lots about the things that we have to do and are doing. We have to do the right things and for the right reasons. And sometimes maybe we have to do the wrong things for the right reasons. I hope that we can avoid it. But that's definitely the point. And I think my minutes are now definitely up. And therefore I open as more to questions. So just to let you know, as Eunice already said, we are ready with the program of rolling out and the 6-week rotation where we go into different topics. And we invite you to come and be active and ask questions and be involved with your own topics. We will post an agenda if you have your own topics that you want to raise, how to do this. And yeah, we are looking forward to real engagement and encouragement to set up countrywide assemblies, because we are here to shift the power into the communities. And I said this on an earlier call, what we imagine is about 2,000 community assemblies, and they are quite small. And the power will not sit with the national or with the provincial, it will sit with the community. That's where the people need help, and this is where the people can make the most impact. And that's where we will get to help them in the support, that each and every community can be responsible for their own budget, can be probably even ratified with their own structure, either by national or by global, also from the finance. But we would like to encourage self-governance, and this doesn't mean that anyone tells you how to do it, it just gives you the support how to get it done in the way that your community feels is right. Now, definitely my 6 minutes are over.
Well done.
Jay, you were not bound to the 6 minutes, but thank you so much, because you have to give us a little bit of background. Is there anybody else who wants to ask a question or to discuss anything else apart from restoration? You are welcome. We open up the floor for that. As the weeks go on, we will have more interesting things, and yes, we'll get deeper into it. But for now, what do you want to say?
Okay, can I perhaps just say something? Sarah, I hear your plight. We see it every day. We experience it every day. Many of us are displaced, even in this group. Some are going homeless, some have been homeless, some are homeless. It's when we start restoring our communities with projects, with various projects that we'll be running out, and the management of our own communities, that the changes will start happening. So just Fastbait, create your community, make it a small community. We don't have to aim for a district. We just aim for your little town where you live, where you know the people, where you know each other's needs, and where you can communicate with each other, where you can actually get to sit around a table and discuss things and identify your needs. Create a needs assessment and work from there with the people. Have those meetings. I hope that helps and encourages you.
Can I come in here? Goodness.
Yes, please.
All right. I've jotted down 4 points here that I quickly want to just highlight. On the previous discussions, I'm very well with everyone on a plan that is, as I said previously, very near to us, near to yourself. As Tani just said, there's a lot of people that I personally know around this table that has a housing problem, that has a data problem, that has a food problem. So the people around this table is committed to being here. Let's look at this. I've made a few clips here of the people that's around the table. And see, Sarah, are you well? Eunice, are you well? Jay, are you well? Are you well attended to? Tandi, who's looking after you? Are you secure? Do you have data? Jan, and so on and so on. Dani, as Sarah said, one of us can quickly lose our jobs, and then we down and out. And then next meeting you won't see the face, but you won't know why you're not seeing the face. So I would say, as a registration platform for us, point number one, very, very, very important, is to look after this circle in the sense of housing, data, food, water and lights, municipality account. You can not pay the account. Now you don't have electricity. Now I'm saying, all right, it's load shedding. That's why I can't attend. But it's not the truth. I don't have money for water and lights. Fuel. I can't go to work. So if I can't go to work, I can't earn money. So as a priority for us, I feel that this is the first priority that this group must focus on. Then the second thing that I've jotted down here is health insurance, the insurance thing. How nearby is this insurance thing? Because that, if the insurance card comes through, then this circle won't need to explain why we're here. Then everyone will ask where can I get involved? So if I look at what Kim said 60 days 2 weeks ago, then maybe I can make an assumption that maybe in 60 days the monies will come through. Then we must really be in place with our budgets and our assemblies and or this assembly must be in place. All these faces around this table today must be in place. Again, let's look after ourselves so that we can look after the rest of the people, because there's a lot of people on this table that doesn't have food on the table. And we look sitting here bright and bushy tail, and we're not big enough to recognize it. Then the last thing that I really wanted to ask here, Kim is always talking about the 6 or 7 deadly sins. I think I'm not very sure. If you look at the 10 commandments, it's not 6 or 7. So could somebody put it on the chat? What is the 6 or 7 deadly sins, so that we can start concentrating on the right things? Thank you very much.
Right. Has anyone else got a next question or comment? We've got 2 minutes for that.
Can I have a quick word? I know I've done my 2 minutes, but all this talking has brought things to the fore in my head. if there's nobody else who wants to talk.
Is there anyone else that would like to share right now? Okay. We actually do need to just let the next person share. Are you sure there's no one else that wants to share?
It's Bonnie here. I just want to find out, Kim mentioned the med beds. Will they, I mean, I've been involved with healing and I'm really interested in healing. Is there training on that? And will it enter South Africa? Because I'd like to get involved with that because a lot of people need healing.
Okay. Those med beds, there's no talk of it yet. Kim said in a meeting that there's 130,000 of them on the planet, but they're all in the hands of the deep state. When they are retrieved from those positions and it's safe for humanity, they will be rolled out. There's no training on med beds at all on any level at present.
At the present, okay.
But Lisa said there's a on their thread, and I'm not too sure about the address now, but you can put your name on the list, on the waiting list for a med bed. And what they said is if you get a med bed, you will get 1,000 hours of training with it. So I think you must go the health way with a global health and wellness consortia on their website. Just go and have a look there because I think there's a waiting list that you can put your name on. Go for it.
Okay, thank you. That's cool. Lovely.
Just on the deadly sins, I just posted them and just quickly looked it up. I just want to mention this. This is lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jay. We've got Benjamin next. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I'll put my video on as well. I'm just a little bit confused. In other words, you know, I haven't spoken yet, but I have spoken to Eunice and Fundy perhaps in the past. You know, we're talking about our assemblies. We're talking about local little assemblies. But then it came through from what's his name, that we had to look at districts and things like that. And I know we.
Oh, Ben,
Benjamin is
you
muted.
are muted. Something must have happened to your side. Ben, can you just unmute yourself? Something must have happened there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Where did I stop? Or where?
You wanted to know what happened. Why are they asking for provinces? That's what you wanted to know.
Yeah. So they were asking provinces, and yet we had a vote here on this platform where we spoke about self-governance, and that I had the kind of idea at that particular time that we were talking that we could go into small little groups and go from that point. But it looked like you couldn't sort of actually do something on that side. And then also another question, what's actually happening about the ratification? You know, it's quiet, nothing's happening. It kind of holds us back. And on top of that, you know, we talk about Kim, we watch the stuff and it all looks fantastic. But if I talk to people out there and I say, well, where's the proof about this thing? Nothing has come through as proof. We've spoken about, in the words, the medical cards, in the words, we've spoken about, there was talk about money, but there's nothing that I can actually tangibly talk to people about. So it makes it a little bit difficult at this stage to sort of really take it further. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. I'm really looking forward to, in actual fact, getting an assembly or something like that going. I mean, in Sedgefield, where I am, we're having a rate players meeting next week. But if I come with this stuff to them there, they say, show us the proof. It sounds, you know, it sounds like far-fetched stuff. So how do we come across that? I know what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting to get involved with the Ratepayers Association, getting involved with that community, but I can't really bring this in because there's no real proof that we can bring across until the cards come out, and until there's something like that there. I'm waiting for that, and it's like I'm in the starting line of waiting to run, but kind of held back. You know, we've talked and talked.
Benjamin,
and talked,
can I?
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I answer on some of your questions? It is not that anything is holding us back. There are certain things that hasn't broken through yet, but a lot of work has been done since we spoke to you. A lot of work has been done. We are really breaking ground. You know, the plan that South Africa has is, I personally think it's more advanced than any of the plans that I've seen. It's much more self-governing than anything that I've ever seen. And to bring that across is not just a 1, 2, 3, it takes time. You have to bring it over to people, get them to understand. So we're not sitting back and waiting. There's a lot of work being done. The ratification is not the breakthrough or not the breakthrough. Do not put all your hope just on ratification, because that's just one of the markers in a number of them. The assurance cards, Kim said again this morning, it's coming out. She said on the call at the end of the year that they need 2 weeks from the suppliers to print them. So let's say it's printed by the middle of January. Now it has to be distributed. So it's not that nothing is happening. It is happening. It just takes time, because we're working with, they are working with 8 billion people, and to involve all of them in it takes some time. But there's a lot of things happening. If you listen to every one of the calls, you see how things happen. And then if you look at the news and what people say and what's happening in the world around you, you can see how those things that Kim is talking about, that it's happening. Some of the people that told me this is, they can't believe it, they don't know whether this is true. They actually came back to me and said, you know, this is the real McCoy, because we tested it in our businesses, in our finances, in where we are. And I'm talking about people in big business, people who know what it's all about. So it's really happening. But Kim started right at the top, bringing it down the levels. And we have to start at the bottom, and we'll meet up there. So we're working as hard and as long as we can. Over to you, Jake.
Yes, thank you, Eunice. I think we are moving very fast at the moment, not only what we hear from Kim, but also on our side. We have our proposal that goes on Kim's desk within the next days in regards to ratification and our proposed structure. We have a lot of ideas that we feel are some are radical, some are very practical in regards to self-governance. And we have to see what will be approved, where do we need to fine tune. What I always like to say is, do not expect that we know everything. What I'm saying is what my current understanding of the situation. I can be 100% wrong, I can be 100% right. I hope that I'm more wrong than right. And that's what we propose when we going forward, that the decisions or the suggestions that we are making are going into the right direction. But what we are preparing now is the first draft, what has never been done before, of complete self-governance. Every day, Eunice, Tandy, I, Kim, Kelly, everybody is learning something completely new that we probably didn't think about. And there were some things that we just said, oh, let's think about this. And 100 hours later, we have a different understanding of it. So this is not something where we just can fly by night and say, let's copy and paste some documents and implement it, and then we are ratified. This is where the heart and where the soul and where all of your skills are coming in together, that we really can change something. And what we are proposing today can be next year completely different, because somebody knows better and sees better and understands better. And I'm very careful with saying something that I can't confirm or put out there. My heart knows that everything that Kim says, she says for the right reasons, and that we are moving in the right direction. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here any longer. And yeah, we don't know everything, and what we say today might be right or wrong. Tomorrow we will know better, and maybe tomorrow the guidance changes, and we have to evaluate things. I would like to encourage everyone to stay the course and move forward, because this is the first time probably in history where we have a chance to propose something that is quite powerful, very deep, very subtle, and very hopefully effective, and getting really to the core of the business, where the people can decide what's the right way moving forward.
Absolutely, Jay. I just want to answer Bianca. She asks in the chat, she wants to know, how can we prove to people that we are part of United Network with your lifestyle? And going forward, money will not make the difference. Your lifestyle, the way that your heart and your actions and your behavior is, that would tell people. You know, people don't have to sign a paper to become part of us. You're part of this if your heart is for going forward, for restoring humanity, for doing good to the planet. And that is the most important thing for where we are now. But in the coming, you know, every day things are happening. Just keep on listening to the news. If you guys can just listen to the news and keep on following it, you will see there's a line being pulled through it. We are progressively moving forward. But guys, let's not be deceived. We are in a very real war. And the war was on the deep state level where Kim did the war, and it's come down to our level now. And that war is a war of love. We can only win it with love. It's our loved ones, our brother, our sister, our friend, the people living next door who do not understand what we're talking about, and they want to attack us. Do not retaliate. Just love them, explain to them, and let them have their choices. When I first heard about this, I had many questions. So can they. Yes, I think love is the weapon that we have. That's the tool. That's the breakthrough thing. That's what we have to go with, is loving one another. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think we must come in for the landing. Yes.
Are you done, or do you want one more question?
We have time for one or two more questions,
Okay.
I guess.
All right.
Close at 8.
Jake, I'm giving you 2 minutes. If you want to unmute yourself, and then Unati's next after you.
Cool, thank you. Okay. I've been involved with seriously large companies on the marketing side. And I know that to get the public to go into a direction, they've got to see what they can get out of it. And I think, just before I go into that line, Ben, what you said was so very, very right and important. Okay. How do we get the belief of the people, the public? I mean, goodness, I've got friends that are going and getting, I just had a friend send me a WhatsApp saying that he's had his 3rd jab, and my heart just broke, because he and his family are beautiful people, but they won't listen to anything, right? So that is what we're fighting against, guys. That is our enemy. I'm not talking about Kimberly Gogan and Tank and all those. They can do all the other stuff, okay? We've got to deal with these people who are on the ground, and what are they going to do? They're going to follow us if they see that what we do works. So what we need to do is identify a community, not a very large one, community maybe in Langa or one of the squatter towns or whatever, and go in there and improve it and show people how it can be done. And because, hey, we are 90% Black in this country, right? So let's not worry about the whites so much. Let's worry about the Black community, uplift them. They will automatically uplift the white community as well. But we need to have a plan, and I've got a plan which I can propose to you. Obviously not on this platform, but that's what we need to do. We need to show them what we can do. Show them that we can walk the walk. They've heard the talk for so long, and every time it's been a disappointment. There's been somebody taking money out of their earnings or whatever. They are so suspicious, and you can't blame these people, because they're poor and they're trying to improve themselves, and so they're desperate. They take desperate measures. We need to set an example, guys. We need to put a plan together, get it working, and then take it to all the different communities right throughout South Africa. We don't need data. We can have a laptop and an overhead projector, and we can go and do people to people. Because when they feel your energy, when you're standing there and you're saying, guys, this is working. Look what's happening in Helderberg area. Look what we've done in this township. Look at the people. Look at they've got fruit trees growing on the pavements. They've got gardens in the little piece of land at the back. They feed themselves.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we hear you very much, and I love your enthusiasm, and I would love to hear you another hour talking. Maybe, and this is also what you have prepared and in paper. Send it to us, send it to Tandi, Eunice, or myself, and we are looking for new ideas and fresh ideas. But I'd like to want to give Unati now the possibility to ask maybe the last question for today.
Okay, thank you so much. I didn't get your name, unfortunately. Jay, is it Jay?
Jake.
Jake. Okay, thank you so much, Jake. For the... Yeah, okay, so I really wanted to raise exactly what Jake has just raised now. I think it's very important that we really show people practically what we are about and what we need. Because we can have all these theories and all these experiences that we talk about Kim's experience, about Tandi's experience, about Eunice's experience, when the communities don't see any difference in this network, will be to them, will be like the ANC, will be like the previous leaders, will be like, all those people that have been promising the second coming of Jesus, and people are still waiting even today. So we really need to get to start doing something. So my proposal would also be, if maybe each province can pick one community and say, this community is going to be the community that we are going in, and this is the community that in 6 months' time, people are going to feel the difference. And we can also make that community our advertising tool to say, here is the plan, here is what we've done, and this is what we are talking about. This is exactly what we are talking about, and this is how we are achieving what we are talking about. So for me, that's the priority. The other priority is what Danny was saying. We cannot give from an empty bucket. We have our own problems. So I would plead for the leadership of the assembly, perhaps to really sit and have a proper budget for the members here right now, and to say, how can we help each other out, so that then we don't feel sucked and our energy is drained, because then we need to do something, we need to do this, but I know I'm unable to because of this and this problem. So it maybe our first priority should be moving from this meeting to say, we then decide on the list of people that are attending these meetings that are here today, what is your problem? What can we help you with? What are your needs? Then we move then to the community part. And the health card is going to be very important. I think those are the priorities right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Inyati. This gives a lot of thoughts for discussions as well. Maybe everyone is right. We shouldn't wait for any else funding, but find another way of funding. I think this is where we take this discussion further. There are lots of communities in need. Let's address them or find them and start with the needs assessments. And then maybe we can find ways to finance and maybe our small community first and other communities last. Let's see what comes out of the vote. I hand back to Eunice to maybe have some words for closing. She wanted to, or we wanted to give you a little bit overview about the next weeks and the next cycle that is coming now.
I think we've come to the end of our meeting, and I really love all of you guys. I look at your faces and I just enjoy being in your company. Thank you so much for the time that you've offered up tonight. please invite more people onto the call, and we're going to send out the agenda. Tandi also placed the agenda that you can place something on the agenda if you want to talk about something, how you go about it and placing it on there. So please do it. Send it to the email, and let's really make this our platform where we can talk with one another and build relationships and going from here further. I think on the ASA, on the South African Assembly group, we have to give you more information, because every one of you spoke of things, and there's a whole lot already developed around it. It hasn't come together yet, but I think we will place some information on there. Please visit the website. There's a lot of new information on it. You will find videos there. You will find a number of things there. And if you have questions, please talk to us. Next week, we're going to talk about restoration plan. And the restoration plan is the basis of where we stand and where we're going to. It's foundational. And I think it's very important that we look at that, because when you look at a restoration plan, we understand what our behavior and our attitude should be. And a lot of us, I think every one of us, sometimes go, sometimes I speak to the people that I have my cell phone contract with, and before I go on the contract, on the call, I say to myself, you're not going to get angry now. You're not going to get angry. And then when I put the phone down, I think, no, you missed the mark again. So we all have a lot of work to do in changing our behavior and our attitudes. But it's not only with that, it's how we deal with ourselves, relationship with ourselves, and then how do we do it in the communities. So please come prepared, look at the agenda, place things on the agenda if you want to. We're going to keep the calls to an hour, because if we go over an hour, it becomes very difficult to do what else you have to do at home. And I think we can do that in a shorter period of time. So love you guys. Thank you for all your input. Have a wonderful week. See you next week.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
Night, all of
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. Good night.
Bye-bye. Go well.